Just breathe, don't drown your heart, baby. Just breathe, don't. Love can kill you and make you cry.
Hey guys, so I'm back with another tutorial. Today I'm gonna do something that a few of my patrons who are on my mentor pack asked me to help with. So it's basically like a lot of you guys have been struggling with how to do text on a specific type of video. So they've asked me for like slow editing and fast editing. So today I'm going to show you just like some basic text that you can do on a slow video and some basic text that you can do on a fast video. Just some quick things that you can do in Sony Vegas by yourself. So these are the clips that I have. So that's the slow part. And that's the fast one. I didn't go like too slow or too fast. I just kind of kept it in the middle, I guess. And after that, I've made templates of like the fonts that I'm gonna use, which is something that I usually do before I start a video. So basically, they're just like little typography templates. You can see here. This is for the slow one. So I've got a script font and I've got like a tiny, just completely simple, basic font. And then for the second one or the fast one, I've got like these sort of long, quite bold texts here. And this is kind of like the typography style that I'm going to go for. So I suggest that's like the first thing you do. Once you have your scenes all laid out and you do your text, pick a font and just see that it works well with another font. So kind of like this. So this is the kind of thing that I'm going to do. And if you want these fonts, they are Shine Bright and Montserrat. And so let's start doing that with the slower video. Okay, so I'm just gonna add this track. For my fades, I've literally just, this is how I've done them, and this track is just set to screen. And you can see that they fade like that. If you want to play around with fades, I do actually have a separate video that I did ages ago on slow fades, if you want to have a go at that, but I suggest just playing with them yourself. So let's start. So with slow videos, there's nothing really that I would animate ever, but I will give you some tips on how to make it kind of look like it's flowing well. So I'm gonna do one here at the start, so it's gonna be actually I'm gonna start with the second clip first, so that one. I'm just gonna make it come in at the very same time. And I'm going to type breathe. The font was Shine, I believe. Yes. Okay, I'm going to make that quite big, that font. Like this. I'm going to leave it white. And in case you have like a background that kind of has already like some details on it and it's kind of difficult to see the text, you can do like a blur or something, which I'm gonna do like a subtle blur, I guess. So what I'm gonna do is just get like, let's go for soften. So I'm gonna make it animate, so put this keyframe at the very end so it gets that blurry towards the end, and then go towards the beginning and just make it not blurry, so it kind of just blurs out as the scene progresses. I'll maybe actually tune that down to 100, because I don't think 200 is that good. Yeah, okay, that works. And then I'm also going to just fade the text along just the same way the clip fades, really. And then you get the other clip. I might do it a little bit quicker though, just so that it kind of transitions like that. So you can kind of be quite sloppy when you're doing your slow videos, just as long as everything fades in and out. And if you have like a sharp sort of beat like that, then it's better if you just bring it all in at once, like that. So I just have like this scene fading out, and then this scene just comes on top like immediately with no fade or anything, and then it fades out. Okay, so for the other text, I wanted to add like a small just. And the reason that I'm doing the just after I'm doing the breathe is because my script font is like the larger font, the dominating font. And so I'm gonna just add the smaller one later so that I can see where I want to place it in my typography. So I'm gonna change that to Montserrat, and I'm gonna make it light and just make it really, really tiny. Maybe adjust the tracking a little bit, and then check on this clip where I want it to end up. So I think here would be quite good. Just the tracking a bit more, make it a bit tinier. My advice for typography is definitely like play with scaling a lot. So make sure that one of your texts, if you're doing a slow video obviously, make sure that one of your texts is like really small while the other one is quite large. So I'm just gonna fade it in here, and then it kind of comes in like that, and then breathe. Cool, and then I would have them both fade out at the same time. Okay, and now since all of these clips are kind of more focused on that side, so you have the hands on this side of the screen, you have her face on that side of the screen, and her face is also on that same side of the screen. I'm going to do all of the rest of my text on this side. Again, I'm just going to use some simple fades. And I'm going to start with the main word, which would be heart in this case, so don't drown your heart. And I'm going to make that the script font, which was the shine one. There we go. Oh, also make sure when you're using a script font that you unselect this bold thing, because it makes it look a lot better, like a lot nicer, in my opinion at least. So I'm going to make that quite large, and I'm going to put it right there. Okay. Fade it out from there. Maybe fade it in from here. Okay. And then I'm just kind of gonna go backwards. So just back by each word. So don't drown your heart. So the next word would be your. And then I would see where I would place that on, depending on the heart word. So we're gonna go to that one. You can obviously play with, like, if you've got a font that's kind of like a family font, like Helvetica or Cocoa Gothic or something like that. You can play with the size and like further detailing, I guess, if you want to do more advanced-ish typography. I don't even know what I'm saying, to be honest, but you know, whatever. I'm tired. So we've got that one, and then I'm just going to copy it for the rest of them and try my best to fit them. So the next word would be drown. Drown. It's kind of fitting considering Eve tried to drown Villanelle. No, sorry, the other way around. Villanelle tried to drown Eve. Drown your heart. And then you don't. Yep. Okay, so it's quite tiny, and you can see that the background here, I don't know, it's kind of not like, it doesn't make your text pop. So if you want to make your text pop more, I do suggest doing like edgy blurs, stuff like that. I'm gonna use Magic Bullet Looks for this one. And we'll see, I think number 2 would work. And just see how that, yeah, okay. So if I just go to edit look, maybe. Or maybe my entire project will crash. Ba, 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 ba. No, it's fine. Okay, so just the edge softness, if you adjust that. Go to Magic Bullet Looks and add some edge softness. And blur it out a little bit. Then that way your text will kind of pop more if it's on like a blurred part of the screen. Okay, there we go. And you can do that for the rest of the clips as well if you just want to sort of emphasize it. But I think in these ones it's fine because I don't know, it's just like there's nothing there to bother the background too much. So that's good. That's your slow editing. Literally my tips, just experiment with your fonts, use big script fonts and tiny normal fonts, and what else? Just make sure that everything kind of flows and fades with your clips. Like, it doesn't have to be right on the clip if your video is like, if it has a lot of fades, if it's not very clean in the structure, like you've not got a lot of clean cuts, if it's mostly fades, then you don't have to worry too much about if your text is fading at the exact right moment. Just make sure that it does fade. And yeah, that should be that, pretty much. I think that's all of my advice. You can also try experimenting with like different sort of, what are they called? Track modes, I think, yeah. So for example, Dodge used to be very popular once upon a time. You kind of get this shiny text. So you can use that maybe for like your big texts or whatever. But yeah, no one does that anymore. I don't know why. It just died. Anyway, so that's that for the slow. And then for the quick video, the fast text, I'm gonna just show you like a couple of go-to text effects that I use on fast videos when I cannot be bothered with anything else, really, when I just want like a quick way out. So I'll just do like a couple of texts here. So I'll do one there. Just do love, and then we're just gonna pick what was the font. They were Shayla and Long Johnson for the quick video. So I'm gonna do love and can right here, and I'll show you guys a trick that I use to kind of do the same text effect quicker with one text preset, I guess, if that makes sense. And the other one was, what was the other one? Long Johnson. Cool, okay, I like that. They fit a lot. Just adjust the leading here so that they are like spaced out a bit more. And I think I might make that one thinner. Yeah, that works. And I'll make them a little bit smaller like this. Okay, so what I do, I keep them together for now, and then I'll do like this animation of them popping in. So the first frame, you want them to be quite small, and then you go in about 5 and you restore it, and then you go in a few more frames and you make it a bit smaller again, not too much smaller, but like that maybe, and then you go back a little bit like that, and then you change the first one to fast and the second one to smooth, and that should sort of give you like a popping in, bouncing in effect. Perfect. Okay, so you can do that with the whole text, or I'm gonna do that actually here. Like I'm just gonna put this template here and just do the cry effect at the end. So that's doing the whole text coming in at once. But I will show you how you can separate it in an easy sort of way. So I want these to come in at separate times, but I want them both to have the same animation. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to insert a new video track. I'm going to, on this first one, I'm just going to mask the first word. And then I'm going to copy that, paste it above on the track that I added, and just kind of shorten it for a few frames and drag it back like that. And I'm going to go into the mask of the second one and just move it down to the other word. And then they will come in at separate times, and it's going to be like you animated both of them separately. And they're going to both jump in separately. Okay, and then the next clip comes on top of them. And then I want to make this one. So I've got another sort of animation. It's going to be the same type of thing. So I'm going to just put a text on top of it. I'm not bothering with like styling the text right now, so I'm just keeping it all white, all plain and simple. Make, and we're gonna go with Long Johnson on that one. And I'm gonna place it, where am I gonna place it? Just there, I guess. Again, you can go with magic bullet looks on any of these clips if your text is not popping out as much as you'd like it to, so that's a little bit better now. I'm just going to make it a bit smaller because it's a bit too much for me right now. I think I might make it black actually, because I absolutely hate it. Oh, also if you got like a faded coloring like this, I do suggest, instead of making your text completely black, make it kind of grayish, so that it fits in with your coloring, I guess. Or you could just basically just like pick the color off your screen anyway. Oh, okay, that's great. My color picker for some reason does not work. It just gives me like grays every time I try to pick a color off the screen, which is, you know, great. It helps with editing so much. But anyway, moving on, the effect that I wanted to do is alright, I wanted to just do a pan crop, so panning in. So I'll just drag this keyframe, the first keyframe, to about 606, and then I'm going to go back to the first keyframe and just gonna move it a little bit off to the side, and I'm gonna change this one to fast. I'm gonna go to the last keyframe and just make it move over to the right side a little bit, like that, so it kind of flies in. So that's a really cute, simple animation that you can do really quickly. And then again, I'm going to kind of repeat what I did with that bouncing effect. So I'm just going to copy it, put it on top, shorten it, and then I'm going to just go in. This is really easy, so just change your text in this text maker, text sample, whatever. And what was the other font? Shayla? Right, that's the one. I'm going to make that a lot smaller. And then you can just move the placement around on the screen, and it'll still keep your animation like exactly the way you made, and it'll come in the same way. So that's your second one, your second effect. And there was one more that I wanted to show you. What is this? Love can kill you, right? So I'm just going to add another just new template. Kill you. And I'm gonna do this with Long Johnson, because that one's kind of bolder. I'm gonna make that a little bit tinier, and I'm gonna place it down at the bottom of the screen. Like that. Yeah, that's fine. And okay, so this animation has to do with tracking, and you do that all in your template here, so you don't do anything with pan crop. So what you want to do is just adjust your tracking, well, it depends on what kind of animation you're doing. You can do it so that it animates like from like really low tracking to really high tracking, or from really high tracking to low tracking. What I'm going to do is start off like this. You press your animate button, and that's your first keyframe. And then you make sure that this little button here is selected, saying cursor to media timeline. And then depending on where you move, so I'm going to move in about 5 or 6 seconds into, well, not seconds, but milliseconds into the clip. And then you just adjust your tracking, and then it'll create another keyframe for you. So I'm going to do it at about that. I'm going to go towards the end and just make it come in a bit more, like that. Perfect. But make sure that you've already like done all of your sort of color corrections or shadows or whatever changes you want, whatever styling you want in your text. Because if you change it on a different keyframe after you've pressed animate, then it'll change it for you. Like for example, if I press like here and if I delete the U, then it's just gonna create another keyframe and my Y is just gonna disappear in the middle of the clip, and you don't want that. So don't change anything after you've already pressed animate until you double checked it. Okay, so that's the last one that I'm gonna do, and I'll also just add a magic bullet looks on this because it might look better. Yay! Cool, that's fine. So that's pretty much it for this tutorial, I think. I don't think that there's anything else that I want to add. With fast videos, you can be, well, you just need to check that your text ends where your clip ends. That's basically all. For example, here it doesn't actually align quite right, but there we go. That's fine. So yeah, my number one tip is just to follow your clips, guys. Basically, just like make sure that your text comes in when your clip's in, and that it fades out when your clip fades out, if your clip fades out. If it just cuts, then make your text cut as well, unless you're doing a different animation on the text. But this is just like my advice for simple text in fast and slow videos, and I hope that you find that useful. So thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!